Hi everyone, welcome again. So today we start with our new Aeon topic, which is quantum poetics. So let's see what this Aeon Essay hold for us. Quantum poetic is about how Borges and Heisenberg converged on the notion that language both enables and interferes with our grasp of reality. So it is written by the William Egginton, who is a Decker professor in the humanities and the director of the Alexander Grass Humanities Institute at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. So let's see what this passage holds. As history's bloodiest war, metastaticists from Europe onwards, two men a world apart from each other, coming from profoundly different disciplines, converged on one fundamentally similar idea. One of the main was a poet and short fiction writer with middling success in his own country, but virtually unknown outside its border. The other man had already won the Nobel Prize for the work he had done around 15 years earlier and would soon top the A's. Most wanted this list for the work they suspected he had done in Grammy's unsuccessful atomic weapons program. So this passage is talking about the introduction about the two men who have worked in poets and short fiction writings. The another one is successful, but in his country only, is it in his own country only. But the other one won the Nobel Prize. So, what the title of this particular passage is description about the two writers. And what we can take from is that one of the men was a poet and short fiction writer with middling success in his own country, but virtually unknown outside its borders. And another one is Nobel Prize winner who worked 15 years earlier and who suspected he had done in Grammy unsuccessful atomic weapon program. So he didn't win Grammy award. So let's moving toward the next passage. But while George Louis Bohr knew nothing of advance of quantum mechanics, and while Werner Heisenberg wouldn't have encountered the work of men among whose books was one that sold a mere 37 copies on other side of the world in Argentina. Around the year 1942, they were each obsessed with the same question: how does language both enable and interfere with our grasp of reality? So there is not any particular title of this passage, but we can summarize this passage that both the people have ended up with the same questions. How does a language both enables interfere with our grasp of reality? How they just not just comprehend, how they just let the world know the things in the common language about the reality of life. So let's moving to the next passage. After the resounding failure of History of Eternity, which is written in 1936, the book that sold only 37 copies in a year and garnered almost no critical attention, Boards slipped into a bog of depression. That book's philosophical theme, however, continue to percolate and eventually emerged in an entirely different form in a series of stories called Artifice 1944. In that collection's opening story, Bosch describes a man who lost his ability to forget. So this passage is talking about the two books of Bosch. The first is History of Eternity, which has failed to get attention. So that book only just sold. The Bosch able to sold 37 copies of History of Eternity in the year 1936. That's lead to him in depression. But his second book, Artifices, is continued to percolate and which have a different series of stories where the story about a man who lost his ability to forget. So let's see what's next passage holds. The man goes by the name Aeon Funes. When the narrator of the story meets him, he is still a young man and known in his village for his quirky ability to tell the time whenever he is asked, although he never wear a watch. 2 years later, upon his return to the town, the narrator learns that Funes has suffered an accident and is entirely paralyzed. Confined to his house on the edge of town, the narrator goes to visit him and finds him alone, smoking a cigarette on a cot in the dark. Astonished and saddened by Funes' change of fortune, the narrator is even more surprised to learn that the young man doesn't perceive his consider as disability but as a gift. Funes believes the accident has endowed him with perfect memory. So this passage is talking about the irony of Funes. So the title of this passage is Description about Irony of Funes. So the book Artifices was based on the person named Irony of Funes, who is known as his ability to tell time whenever people ask him, even though he not wear a watch. But one of the incident happened that time after author met him, that he just came to know that Funes has suffered an accident and he's entirely paralyzed. So he gave up. He got to pay the visit to him. So let's see how this Funes is working. Then he found that his condition is not that much of good, but still, in that time, the person, instead of consider his condition as a disability, he believes that he endures with perfect memory. So let's moving toward the next passage. The young man who has never studied Latin borrows a Latin dictionary and a copy of Pliny's Naturalis Historia from the narrator. He then greets him on his return by reciting verbatim the first paragraph of the 24th chapter of the tome's 7th book, a page about memory. However, though his ability to recall is astounding, Funes' gift extends beyond mere memory. His immersion in the present is so profound, so perfect, that nothing to which his senses are exposed escape his attention. In a poetic passage, Bosch describes Fune's ability. And so the title of this passage is Description of Ability of Funes. The first is that his ability to recall is astonishing. And another one is his immersion in the presence is so profound, so perfect that nothing to which his senses are exposed escape his attention. Means whatever he is seeing, he just see that so deeply that every tiny detail he remembered. So what the poet describe about Fune's ability in his poet. So let's read. With one quick look, you and I perceive 3 wine glasses on a table. Fune perceived every grasp that had been pressed into the vine, and all the stalks and tendrils of its vineyard. He knew the form of the cloud in the southern sky on the morning of April 30, 1882, and he could compare them in his memory with the veins in marble binding of a book he had seen only once, and with the feathers of a spray lifted by an oar on the Rio Negro on the eve of Battle of Quebracho, from Collected Fiction 1919 by George Louis Bosch, translated by Andrew Hurley. So this line from the Bosch poem says that the Fune, whatever he sees, if the author is drinking a wine, 3 wine glasses of the tables, the Fune is able to uh, just able to grasp every presence of wine, all the stalks and tendrils of its vineyard. Even he know the how the cloud formation, how the clouds in any time. Like it's given example that in the morning April 1382. So whatever he see it just once, he just we can say that ना कि जैसे एक मैजिक होता है कि बस एक बार देखा चीजें दिमाग में आ गए, which is exceptional case, वो एक बहुत brilliant intelligent person ही कर सकता है. तो that the kind of a person is Fuchs, जो बस एक बार देखा और किताब बंद किया और पेज कहीं पे भी आप बोलो उसको सारे आंसर बाय लाइन बताओ. That kind of a person Fuchs now is. So let's moving toward the next passage. While Fumes insists that his ability make his former life seems in comparison like that of a blind man, the narrator at once begins to glean the limitation of his condition. A Burge goes on to write. Fumes was able to reconstruct every daydream he had ever had. 2 or 3 times he had reconstructed an entire day. He had never once erect or faltered, but each reconstruction has itself taken an entire day. So this passage is describing about how Fumes behave, how Fumes restructure whatever he sees, whatever he gone through, experience in the entire day. So the title of this passage is Fumes description about Fumes restructure about entire day, all the activities of entire day. So the title is the Fumes restructure the activities entire day. So what we can take from here is that his ability make his former life seems in comparison that of blind man, like a blind man who is able to recognized what who is able to just identify what the thing is near, what he touch, whatever he touch, he just identify or assume that what that object would be. So that's the same way Hume's able to assume everything. So Hume was able to reconstruct every daytime dream he had, but that reconstruction takes each reconstruction takes itself taken a entire day. Let's moving toward the next species. The man who perceives and remembers flawlessly, the perception of everything around him is saturated in the immediacy of his memory. The very intensity with which he experienced the world interferences with that experience, for if it takes an entire day to reconstruct the memory of a day, what happens to that new day? And is it surprising that the man who experienced the world in such a way feels the need to wall himself off in a dark room to avoid being consumed by the conversing flood waters of memory and sense perceptions? So this is this specific question about the condition of the fumes. So the title of this species is condition of fumes. So this species saying that that person is recall everything, but the reconstruction of the whole whatever happened in that entire day, it takes him a whole one day. So the author is concerned that what about the next day, memories of next day? Is that the reason why fumes is that the reason why fumes lives alone and in the dark room, so that he don't able to converse the flood water of memory and sense perceptions? So we end our video here. Let's see you with this another series of this Aeon essay. We will continue. As of now, have a great day. Bye bye.